What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Average Joe Sports Podcast. As always, Don here from LA. Got my dog with me, Albert, in lovely Sacramento. What's up, kid? Another week, another
What's
show.
up, brother?
How you feeling?
Let's get it. A lot of stuff to talk about. We'll try to condense it all into a little segment. Um,
Exactly,
we got a lot of
exactly.
stuff.
Got a lot of shit to talk about. A lot of shit popping up. We've been waiting. We've been salivating at the mouth, waiting for open season officially. We know that behind the doors there's been some legal tampering, but the doors, the floodgates have been opening. Just want to do a shout out for people who are listening in on YouTube, people who are listening in audio only on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Appreciate you guys for rocking with your boys. Without further ado, let's jump into it. I think we decided it would be best to kind of do a little small icebreaker in the event that it's NFL for open season, free agency is here, and we wanted to kind of relate that to our life. And kind of the question is that kind of tailored to NFL free agency or any free agency rather. How would that sequence of events in terms of money, I don't know,
Family.
location, like how would you go through that sequence of events? Like what would be your priorities? What would be kind of your things that you would go?
Number one would be location. Big location, man. I like being in the city, but I don't like New York City. I'm just like a nice. I don't want to be too like claustrophobic in the city. So like a city like Denver would be
Don't
nice.
put you in a box. Don't put Albert in a box.
Yeah, don't put me in the box. I see like Denver or San Diego. That's something I would be into. And it's gotta be both those have like nature, this little nature vibes going on. It could be in the trees, mountains. I don't want to be too much of a flat ground. So my number one priority be location. Can I me and my family thrive in that setting? I like going doing stuff with my free time, going out. I don't want to be in Oklahoma City, Sacramento.
Yeah, how you gonna get some? How you
You
gonna
know
get
what I
fresh
mean?
seafood in Oklahoma City?
Exactly. And then also too, it's kind of overlooked, but it has to have a good food scene. I love me some food. They
Yep.
gotta have. This is just not sports. I'm not talking about sports. Like if I was a sports free agent, that's a different thing. This is just life. Life.
Right. Okay.
Like okay, if I was a free agent today, what would I look for? So I'm just talking about location. Give me some good food. Um, and if I was like my kids and stuff, how would their surroundings look like? So I would have to take that into account. Maybe some good schools, maybe like I don't know, if there's a college or two around, maybe to hop into college in their hometown. Friendly, safe, gotta be safe. Okay,
Right.
that's something you gotta take into account nowadays. What about you? What you got? What's your
Yeah. I think for
your
me,
ideal free agent? That's
location's definitely gonna play a role for me. I guess if we're gonna play this scenario out, I'm gonna consider the age I'm in. I'm considering where I'm at in life. So considering I'm 31, I'll be
yeah.
32.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm 31 and 32. At the end of the year, and my mindset is I have a family, so location is probably kind of secondary. Obviously, we'll consider for schools and whatnot, but it's kind of my last chance to get some money. I got to
Yeah,
get paid, so I got to give. I'm 31, going on
yeah.
32. Where's the money? This is my last opportunity of getting paid. Give me some money.
So
This is my last big contract, so I'm looking for the money with secondary consideration, of course, location. But location is still probably tied to money, meaning I'm looking at state taxes. I'm looking at all those things, right? Considering where I'm at in life, it's a little different. If this question was what was asked like maybe 5 to 7 years ago, I'm thinking location. I want to be where it's popping. I need, all the fixes. I need the city life. I need all those
so
stuff.
I'm kind of I'm how like when LeBron went to Miami. That's me right now. Like I might want to
Exactly,
have my fun a little
exactly.
bit. You're more trying to get your last bag, but you're not chasing a ring yet.
Yeah,
You're not yet just
exactly.
choosing a championship contender. You're still trying to. You're getting your bag. I want my bag, but I still want to have my fun while I'm there.
Exactly.
So
I'm yeah,
yeah,
I'm LeBron going back to Cleveland. You know what? It's Cleveland, it is what it is. They're gonna pay me, it's all good. And then eventually I'm gonna have to look for the Lakers. I'm gonna have to look for the last call. Last call for sure, man. So good
yeah.
shit. Good shit. Now we did a little bit of role playing. Let's get into the real shit. So there's there's a lot of trades that have happened, a lot of quarterback trades that have happened as well. So we'll start with Carson Wentz. He went to the Washington Commanders. It looks like it was for a third round pick, a second round swap, and then another third round pick which could most likely be a second round pick depending on if he plays over 70% of the snaps. What do you like? You think this is a good deal for the Commanders?
If this is their only option, there's different options on the table right now, right? Where there was Jimmy G. They could have made a swing for Deshaun Watson. Talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it could be like Brett Hundley, the Ravens backup. Obviously, they didn't want to go to the draft. They're I'm going to the draft. Really a good option. Not the biggest fan of Wentz, but he went for an all right price. I mean, that's the price you got to pay for quarterback.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to be. I like it more from the Colts end. They're just like, fuck it, move on. They had him for a year, even though they wasted a first round pick just to have that trial of him. And they just move on. You got to move on. They're stuck in quarterback purgatory. So is Washington. We talked about this before. I don't know if it's going to succeed for Washington, but you just got to try something. You can't just roll it back with fucking Allen, right? Or who was that?
Ryan Allen, whatever his name is. Yeah. Where I'm at.
So I like the swing. They took a swing. I thought that was going to work, but at least they made some movement. It just didn't sit on our hands.
Right. I mean, ultimately, there's no way you can swing around it. It's obviously there's a huge L here for the Colts, right? I mean, they went and got out what they could. They scraped and they got what they got. Was it the third round pick, maybe a second and third round pick on top of that. But obviously a huge L, right? They took a chance to get Wentz. Eagles are huge winners in this in retrospect, right? Because they got all the first round picks, and Eagle fans were kind of skeptical of Jalen Hurts. And at this point, it's not about Jalen Hurts. We'll see what he is in year 2 as the first full-time starter. But I mean, huge win for the Eagles, right? Look at them; they got 3 first-round picks in the draft, albeit it's 15 to 22, whatever it is. But huge win there. Yeah. Colts lost. Commanders, I don't mind them for the price they paid. They didn't pay the Colts. I mean, the Colts, that buffer, they didn't pay a high premium like the Colts did. I mean, rightfully so. Yeah. But I don't mind it. I think this is a decent pickup for them to take a flyer on Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I respect them moving on. That's they did take an L, but at least they didn't try to make it work and just maybe pay him another contract and kind of just made it work. Fuck yeah, we're done with you. We didn't like. On to the next. Right. For that, even though it didn't work out. But it depends what they're going to upgrade to. Are they going to upgrade to Jimmy G? That's an upgrade in the locker room and on the field. If they upgrade, we don't know. But I mean, they knew it wasn't going to work, so they gotta on to the next one. So I don't know. It's just kind of maybe a lose trade.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I mean. We'll talk about what Jimmy G right now. Might as well. So what do you think? What do you think about Jimmy G? Obviously, we've things that have transpired since the last time we've talked. Right? Tom Brady came out of retirement. Russell Wilson, Wilson. We talked about it. I think that just happened. That just happened last time. Another spot that the Saints. That's a good spot. But now Watson is rumored to be that's in his top 3 or whatever the case may be. So that market for Jimmy G is closing pretty quickly. So what do you think, man? I mean, what do you think? There's a 50-50 chance he's going to get traded?
They have to. They're not gonna hold on to him, even though it's getting a little close. They gotta free up the money by Wednesday, by tomorrow. If not, they'll cut him. But it's getting a little scary. I see Niner fans are freaking out on Twitter. But
are you one of them? Are you one of them?
And a little bit. I sent you a text earlier. I don't think they'll. I'm just worried that they won't get the draft compensation that they could have got, last year. I was for playing Trey Lance since the beginning of last year, and they probably had better offers than they did now. But holding on to him, they kind of he's more injured, and he didn't really have the best season. They made the values going down. There was so much quarterbacks and moving around that the market wasn't.
You're cutting out really, quite a bit, dog.
It wasn't really narrow like they thought. What am I?
Yes, and not the audio. It's more of an internet.
Check.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they think the market was as narrow as it was. So they Gonna trade him. I'm still predicting. I did predict the Commanders. They went to a different mid-level quarterback. I think they'll
Higher
probably
upside.
they probably go with the Colts or Saints, depending if
Watson.
Watson goes there or not. If Sean Payton was still coaching the Saints, I would say probably not. But they got a defensive-minded coach. Defensive-minded coaches kind of want to play safe. They're not trying to
Right.
sling the ball around.
Right.
Jimmy's perfect, just like a little play action ball control.
Okay. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Jimmy. Obviously, as a Niner fan, you'd hope that he gets at least you get something out of the deal, right? Hopefully, you get something, whether it's I don't know, 4th-round pick, 3rd-round pick, whatever you're gonna get something out of it before you have to force your hand and you have to release him in either way. And then obviously the Cowboys, they made a trade for Amari Cooper. I mean, they traded away Amari Cooper. Yes, and they got 5th and 6th round pick. We know that Amari Cooper, great production. There's been some issues in him disappearing against good talent, in some health issues, but for the most part, decent production. In this particular market for quarterback or for receivers, he was getting to be 20 million, 60 million for the next 3 years, 20 million each year against the cap. So I mean, it's not too crazy.
No.
But as a Cowboys, but not as a Cowboys fan, for me, just considering how the roster was constructed, it was probably better suited for him to move on. Obviously, now on top of that, there's some tension. There was tension between him and Dak, but it made sense to allocate that money elsewhere. Obviously, Cooper's gonna be missed. He was the number one wideout, but you draft a guy like CeeDee Lamb. You bring a guy like Michael Gallup back for the low or for cheaper, considering what receivers are getting paid now. I do think it was the right decision for the Cowboys to move on. It'll be missed, of course. But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I think it was the right decision for the Cowboys to move on. What do you think?
Yeah, I think for how their team is built, you gotta be careful with holding on to receivers too. But nowadays, there's so many receivers coming to the draft. There's about like 5 or 6, 7 names every draft from the 1st round and like the 4th round that are just contributors. Like you see them in fantasy football. Like the running back position, it's kind of like that, but not that much.
Yeah.
It's good. The Cowboys, they kind of stuck with Elliott. Am I still kind of in and out a little bit?
Yeah, you're cutting out quite a bit.
Cutting in and out a little bit.
Yeah. We'll roll with the punches. It's all good.
I've lost you, Donald.
Yes, sir.
Staying 1 2 1 2.
Yeah. I got you. Talk to me.
All right, we're back. But yeah, fantasy wise, I like the deal for Cooper. I think he's probably around that wide receiver 20 to 25 next year. He's definitely got more value than he did on the Cowboys, I think. For the Cowboys weapons, I think Lamb is going to shoot up a little bit. Gallup, Schultz. Don Schultz, I think he gets a little more value in fantasy land too. So
yeah,
kind of it was a good trade. I didn't expect him to go to the Browns. It makes sense. I could have saw like a team like the Jets or the Patriots making that move, but I mean, it gives Baker Mayfield one more weapon to kind of prove what he got going forward. Then a make or break year,
Yeah. I do think I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if it helps his fantasy production. Honestly, because on one end of the token, the Cowboys do have more weapons, but they do air the ball out more. There's a lot. Dak Prescott's pass attempts say significantly higher than Baker Mayfield's pass attempts. Browns are definitely smash mouth football. They love to run the football. They're running the ball a lot more. That's the makeup of their team. They're running the ball a lot better, a lot more than other tems. Obviously, it'll be a number one option. I don't think it'll downgrade. I think it'll kind of be more of a lateral move fantasy wise. My opinion, I don't know.
But I'll take him if they're in the fifth or sixth round. I'll take him.
Right. No. Let's move. All right. So let's move on. We touched on Jimmy G. We'll touch on one more with Khalil Mack going to the Chargers. In my opinion, this was a robbery. I think this was
I love that move.
I think it was a great deal for the Chargers. I mean, and the contract isn't too crazy. I looked at the language of the contract. It's not that crazy. I think the cap hit this year was about $17 million. Um, yeah, and next year I think it was like just over 20. But I mean, it wasn't too crazy. So I'm trying. I mean, I understand the Bears are not there. But it's like, I mean, they're just a mess, right? They traded away, they gave away all that for to get him, and they had him for about 2 seasons or whatever, and now they didn't get much back in terms, and he's still that dude. I mean, he's still solid and run. I mean, I don't know. I think this was a home run pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I love that move. I think an LA type of move, kind of be a big swing. I would love the Niners to make that move. You know what I mean? But they're kind of low on draft picks. I don't know if they had the cap room, but that's they're competing, and they said, let's fuck it, move aside Rams. Let's take a big swing, and they're great on offense. They have a defensive-minded coach. They didn't have as many defensive playmakers as they probably would have liked. But they got Mac and Bosa, two-headed animal on the line.
Yeah.
And then the Bears obviously weren't there yet. There's no reason to hold on to like a top 5, top 10 paid defensive player when they're going to be finishing last in the division. Like there's no point of that. So they've got the best offer, got the best pick they could get, and onward. Those type of contracts that are like top 5 paid at the time usually end up this way. I feel like. Like Jalen Ramsey, like I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm sure the Rams will be more competitive than the Bears are. They have better on track than they were, but like towards the end, I don't know. Call me crazy. Maybe like his last year or two, Rams are like towards the bottom of the division, and they trade Jalen Ramsey to a contender. Those type of moves happen a lot.
We'll see. You get a feel from here that very much so from a popularity standpoint, at the very least, that the Clippers or the Chargers are more like the Clippers, and the Rams are like the Lakers in popularity. And it kind of feels like that summer that when they got when the Clippers loaded up with PG-13 and Kawhi and now they're obviously more relevant. So this is one of the teams that you like. We've talked about it numerous times. This is your secondary team. You like Austin Eckler, obviously Justin Herbert. Mike Will. I mean, this team is Derwin James. If he can stay healthy, he's a freaking monster. They got J.C. Jackson in there, in which we talked about J.C. Jackson, right? We talked about how he's an elite, but some of his bigger games where it gets terrible quarterback competition. I don't want to take away, but that is something to highlight. That I looked at some of his stats, and he had like 3 or 4 multi-interception games. At least 3, and they were terrible. They were against Zach Wilson and a couple of other subpar quarterbacks. So, but I think he put him in that system. He did great.
He did feast a couple of times when he took advantage of a really shitty quarterback, and made his numbers jump. But he's consistent. It's not like that's the only time his numbers blew up. What I like about him, he has great ball control, ball skill. He can sometimes he's just able to poke it away. He's actually grab it, fucking turnover. That's something the Niners need.
Yep.
What separates like defenses from the great ones to the good ones. You mean get that ball to the side. So J.C. Jackson, I love that. I love what the Chargers are doing right now. They're taking advantage of Justin Herbert being in their rookie contract, fucking loading up everywhere else when their quarterback is so good, but his contract's so small. It just fucking spread the love everywhere else.
And this is how great teams are made, right? This is how Seattle was made, how they were able to get all of those defensive players, right? It wasn't just the talent, but they were able to keep and retain those players because Wilson was, at a certain level at a young age in terms of his contract. So they were able to do all that. And of course, as Wilson, obviously eventually you have to pay him, and then no surprise you have to break up that Legion of Boom. Obviously attrition too with age and everything like that, but it's no surprise. And it's crazy because you have a young team with a good young quarterback, and hypothetically, you have a young team in the Jags with a good young quarterback, both with a ton of cap space and completely different ends of the spectrum in terms of like one team making a lot of strategic and smart ass moves. In my guesstimation, like Chargers are bringing fucking J.C. Jackson, it seemed like the missing piece. Khalil Mack swinging for the fences, but seems like they're going to hit a home run on that one. And then you got the Jaguars that are just pissing money. They're burning money, getting all these like secondary ancillary players where it's like, okay, who's the guy you're going to get? Who's the guy? Because you keep paying for all the who's the guy? Christian Kirk, don't get me wrong. The talent is there, but he seems like he can't stay healthy. And he's not that guy. who is the guy that they're spending all this
Yeah,
money? I don't know.
he was Arizona's slot guy. I mean, it's
Yeah,
you know the trend where teams overpay or have big free agent splurges during the offseason when they don't draft good because they have this money available to spend on free agents because they don't have their class to retain. So
right.
it goes hand in hand. If you're not knocking out the draft, doing good, and getting those third, fourth, fifth type of receivers, cornerbacks, or whatever, you'll overpay and get fucking Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, those type of guys. But if they have to get people, I mean, and it's that, like I told you, it's that Sacramento tax. They're going to overpay people to go to Jacksonville. No one, you're not going to go to Jacksonville when you get the same price over in Dallas. So
Right.
have to kick that up a little bit, man.
Yeah, I just think it was interesting to spend so much money on a position in which there is, it's one of the top positions in the draft, right? There's a ton of receiver depth. We've talked about this numerous times. There's a ton of receiver depth. I get signing a guy, bringing a Christian Kirk. Okay, cool. That's maybe your number one guy, in the slot. In modern NFL, the slot, it's your number one guy, then the slot, then your number two in terms of talent these days. But it's getting all Zay Jones, getting all these other guys, and I get you got to spend the money, but I would have wished they would have spent it elsewhere in other positions, right? But we'll see how that goes. Let's go with so we have to finish up NFL. Who are your top three free agents and predict where they will sign for the remainder? Obviously, J.C. Jackson, these other guys have signed. So I'll start this off. And I'm going to be kind of a homer here. I'm going to go Von Miller, Dallas Cowboys. And this is obviously me being hopeful. Praying for a miracle that the Cowboys will strike gold and get Von Miller to replace Randy Gregory and them fumbling the bag there earlier this morning. And also then find out that it wasn't, the media's going to swing. Did they fuck him up? Did they fuck him over? I don't know, because the deal that they presented to him is not foreign to what they give pretty much all their players. It's different. It's different from other teams, but it's something that they do in practice. They do it all the time. And so, and of course, again, like we talked about earlier, Randy Gregory, great talent, but you have to understand the team. You gotta have that caution. You have to, stick to your guns. If that's how you operate in terms of contracts and whatnot, this is the player to stick to your guns. So I wish the best for Randy Gregory. Hopefully he can sustain the success on and off the field especially in a new environment. I'm sure guys like DeMarcus Ware will be around the camp and make sure he's succeed and whatnot. So I don't know, we'll see. But my guys, I got Teron Armstead. I probably one of the top guys, if not the top guy left, the Saints tackle. I have him as the Colts. I think the Colts would need him as well, especially because it doesn't look like they're going to get a top end quarterback. They're going to get a guy like Jimmy G. They better fucking protect for him. So I think Armstead to the Colts, and then Von Miller, Stephen Gilmore. I'm trying to. I don't know. Is it going to be a? What do you got?
I thought the Niners were going to be in the market for Gilmore, but they ended up going with the Chiefs corner. But I think a lot of rumors, my sauces, they say Gilmore might go to the Raiders, and they have a need for a corner, and he has familiarity with their head coach, Josh McDaniels, and they got some room to spend. So I wouldn't be surprised if Gilmore ends up with the Raiders. Also, another name that I think would be a good fit with the Raiders is Allen Robinson. Give him another weapon.
Yes.
Opposite Renfro. So Allen Robinson. Probably the best offensive weapon on the board, I think, still right now. Where do you think Rob will go? Predictions?
Yeah, I could definitely see there. Patriots potentially. This is the guy. This is the guy.
Or Eagles.
Yeah.
Eagles would be nice.
Don't you fucking say that. Don't say that. Don't you say that. Don't say anything to the Eagles. But this is the guy. This is what I meant earlier in terms of Jaguar.
Deshaun Watson to the Eagles.
Yeah, right. Jaguar should have got that guy. Meaning Allen Robinson. That's the guy that they should have got, in my opinion, right? In terms of the high upside potential, being a number one. And we'll see, right? We'll see what Allen. Obviously, huge talent out of Penn State, I believe. And all of his downfalls. He's had some health issues. All of his downfalls have been like, okay, it's the quarterback. We believe that, but I'd love to see him just get there to see. Okay, let's see if it's real. But yeah, we'll see. I can see the Raiders. I can see the Raiders for sure. So yeah, let's transition into NBA. What's up? What do you got? What do you got closing NFL? You got anything?
I was my honey badger, my fantasy nickname. I call myself the money badger. And love this guy since he came out of college. Honey badger, man, smart, fast as shit, versatile defensive back. I hope the Niners got a need there. I know that was one of his favorite teams growing up, so I hope he just doesn't want $15 million a year or something crazy like that. Chiefs just replaced him with Justin Reed.
Right.
So, and his arrow's not pointing up; it's trending down a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's still got a lot left in the tank, man. That guy's he's a leader. He's a leader, a veteran. I think the Niners could use a player like that on a 1 or 2 year deal. Nothing crazy.
Right.
They lost a few free agents, so they got a little bit of room to spend. But I just hope. So,
right.
Come on.
Okay, real quick before we get NFL, give me one guy, and I'll give you one guy after that we should keep an eye on in terms of could be traded. No long explanation because we're gonna move on, but just give me the name. Give me the name.
Could be traded. A lot of smoke about this. I'll say Derek Carr. I don't know. A lot of smoke.
Okay. All right. Derek Carr. Okay, cool. Yep.
Josh McDaniel might want to restart. All right. Nope.
Yeah. I got a lot of smoke too as well. Saquon. What are they finally gonna cut ties and see what that what the market is for Saquon? I definitely think there'll be suitors there for him. And Niners have been rumored for one of them. Yeah, I've seen rumors for Niners. The Niners were rumored for. I mean, they were the rumors I've seen for Saquon. Niners were there. I don't know how solid the sources were. Obviously, you guys have a running back that came into fruition last year. But I mean, Saquon would be a welcome addition. But let's transfer to NBA. We're at 27-minute mark. Let's go to NBA. Let's start off with NBA tank race. Your favorite as a Sacramento Kings fan. Yes, that was shit talking. NBA tank race, which I like this. So let's start off with how do you see the bottom 5 shaping up? I guess I'll lead with this one because it's obvious, and then I'll let you kind of elaborate further. This is your segment, your area, your level, your area of expertise. Rockets, Magic, Pistons, and Thunder. Obviously, I think that's going to be your top 4 or bottom 4 rather, and then it's going to be kind of a dogfight. I think Pacers and Kings, in that range, dogfight for 5th. So we'll see what happens with that. What are your thoughts, and how do you see the bottom 5 shaking out, and what are you hopeful for?
I think it can narrow it down a little bit smaller than that. So the 3-way fight for first right now is between Houston, Orlando, and the Pistons. They're all within a half game of each other. Nothing settled out. It could go either way. It just depends who's going to sit their players more, their starters. And I can see Houston doing that. Orlando, they got some decent pieces, and the Pistons, they have a good mix of veterans and young players. I'm not too sure they'll be. I don't know, trying to think as hard as Houston. But so 3-way race for first. And then the next for 4th, 5th, and 6th is between the Thunder, Pacers, and Sac. I think the Thunder got that locked up. And then next is the Pacers for 5th. I don't think the Kings will catch them because they suck at tanking. They don't know what to do.
Let it all out. Let it all out again.
Right, and they cannot lose right. They can't win right and they can't lose right. So the Kings will end up probably slipping a spot or not. That's 6 right now. Their draft is really top 4 heavy. 5 through the rest of the first round, you could say, is just a medley of tier 2 players. But the first 4 are really good. I don't think the Kings will jump into the 5th spot. Praying for it. I was actually at the Kings game last night. They won. Where they're up by 20 and ended up winning by 5 or 10 against the Bulls. It's crazy. There was a lot of Bulls fans there last night. So yeah, they're Kings always just end up winning a little towards the end of the season, and so fans get hopeful. Like, oh, maybe Fox will have a good start to the season. He'll be an all-star. And then Fox has a shitty season, and then he starts picking it up again towards the last 2 months, and it's a big cycle over and over again. So I think the Kings will end up 6th. Hopefully 5th. 5th is best case scenario.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, being a Laker fan, I'll just quickly touch on it. I think I'm on par with every Laker fan that this season is just a fucking joke. And if I think they've really got this mindset. I think meaning the players, or maybe management is bought in too on this ridiculous mindset is that, oh, we're the Lakers still, and obviously we can fucking beat anybody. And wait till Anthony Davis to come back, and we're obviously going to be 9 or 10 in the play-in. And we can just beat anybody. But that starts now. You can't just first of all, you're old as fuck. You got to just ramp it up for Anthony Davis. You got to have that building blocks now. You got to put that energy in now. Then you enter Anthony Davis and you start getting better and so on and so forth. But no, it just seems like everybody's kind of just fucking tucked their tails in their ass and just fucking said, fuck it. You know what? They're 2-8 since the All-Star break. Their whole management is a fucking joke. I don't know why they traded for Russell Westbrook. I know this is our episode 13 or 14, and we've harped on this a lot, but I mean, we talk about this a lot in our other fantasy chat, and everybody's like, I mean, we're finding new lows. We started off the fucking game against the Blazers the other day. The Blazers yesterday. You know who the Blazers have on their team? Fucking nobody. Anthony Simmons is even out. We started the game 21-2. So yeah, I'm over it. But anyways, yeah, let's move on. So we got rank our top 4 prospects that can help.
Do you think Frank Vogel's on the Lakers next?
I think it depends on how they finish, right? I think if they don't win the play-in, meaning they don't even get into the playoffs, no, absolutely not. If they can win in and get into the series, and at least take care of business there, and the series that they're in, even if they're exited or on the first series, at least it's competitive. They win at least 2 games, maybe 3. It depends on that. Now, if they don't even get in the fucking tournament, no, he's got to go. And that's provided Anthony Davis does come back, right? If Anthony Davis somehow more information comes out and he never comes back, then he probably gets a pass if he's back next year. And let's go with the top 4 prospects in March Madness that can help their draft stock. You fire off one, and then I'll go one, and we'll go 1 for 1. I'll let you start. Go ahead, buddy.
I think the number 1 prospect is probably Jaden Ivey. He's probably my 4th best prospect right now.
Mm-hmm.
But he's on a pretty good Purdue team, but I think he could jump to the 2-3 range rate. Just carries his team into the Elite 8, Final 4. He's a baller, man. So I think he is the one guy to watch out for. He's not gonna take the biggest jump, 4-2. You're like, oh, that's not a big jump, but I mean, it can really just fucking earn him a couple $1 million. Yeah,
I mean? He's nice.
So Jaden Ivey, man, that's my number 1 guy. He's the last guy in my first tier of prospects. Right. But he can definitely make a case for 1 or 2 if he fucking balls out.
Yep, for sure. For the sake of time, we'll do 1 more for you, and then I'll give one name, and then we'll move on.
You want me to go again?
Yeah, go ahead. Fire it away. Give me one more guy.
Memphis is Jalen Duran, center. He hasn't had the best season. He kind of started clicking as of late. It's kind of like that Lily Cauley-Stein type of center, athletic defense, rim runner. So he hasn't been in the top 10 of draft range, but if he has a killer, I think if he wins this first round and wins the next round, he'll play Chet Holmgren. That's first name.
Yep, Chet.
And that's a matchup that everyone wants to see. So hopefully those 2 teams win, and they can have a dream draft prospect matchup. So yeah.
Okay.
Duran and Ivy.
I got this is a local guy, not my team, but I think just piggybacking off of his success last year, he's a fringe second round according to the mock drafts, he's a second round player, Johnny Dusang. Shout out to Vietnam. Yeah, but I think if he can parlay, if he can Nobody says that.
Shout out Biagov. No one says it.
Ever.
No one's ever said
But
that.
oh shit! If he could parlay,
No.
Turney's success from last year, I think he can get it. He can move himself into the first round. He won't make he won't be in the top 15 or anything like that. But I think he can win him some money if he can have a successful tourney like he did last year. And UCLA, I showed you the list of UCLA in terms of the Ken Pond or whatever that list is. But basically, never has the national championship been outside of the top 25 and top 40 in offense, the top 25 in defense and offensive efficiency. UCLA was on that list. USC, Arizona, Gonzaga are our picks there. Texas Tech was not on there, obviously for offensive reasons. Tennessee wasn't on there as well for same thing. Johnny Dude's saying I'm gonna leave it at that. That's what I got. So first round matchups are just in general. What's your favorite bet for the NCAA tournament?
For the first round specifically, I like Loyola Chicago over Ohio State. Ohio State, it's a big name. A lot of people will probably pick them just because off name recognition alone. But they're like 140, like second, really shitty in efficiency.
Right.
Loyola Chicago. Did Loyola Chicago? I could be wrong. Loyola something. Maybe
Loyola.
But whoever's playing Ohio State, yes, sir. Crayola.
No, bitch.
Whoever's playing Ohio State, just don't fade Ohio State. I like Loyola. That's probably my best bet. My favorite matchup is probably Murray State versus San Francisco. Two really good teams. Really, they're kind of. I would have picked them to like beat their matchup, but since they're playing each other, it's kind of hard to pick someone. But Murray State they're like top 15 in both defense and offensive efficiency. Even though San Francisco, shout out the Dons, the San Francisco Dons.
Don't fucking
They are. They
would never shut me out.
Murray State is going to clobber the Dons.
No,
I'm gonna get you a jersey. San Francisco Dons. Dope.
Don't do it.
Fire.
No. What Portland guard was it CJ McCollum or Dame Dollar? Huh?
From Murray State, John Morant.
John Morant, that's who it was. Fucking, I don't know, it's one of those fucking athletic guards. Okay, cool. For me, I kind of broke the rules and didn't interpret this question very well because I'm an idiot. But I had my first. I'm doubling down on my pick. Can you hear me? I'm doubling down on my pick to win it all. I love Arizona to win it all at plus 700. That's my. I mean, I'm sticking to that as my favorite bet. I like it Wisconsin to make it to Elite Eight. I think that one is like plus 500. I like that bet as well. That's where I'm at with that. So
plus 700 for Arizona. Yeah, Arizona's looking good right now. They're a hot name.
Yeah. They do it on both ends of the field. Both ends of the court. So I'll start off as far as to end. I'll just keep it going. I'm gonna start off with my Elite Eight predictions, and then we can just kind of you can go after that. So my Elite Eight prediction for the West is I have Zags and Duke, as probably a lot of people do. And then after that, for the East, I got Kentucky versus UCLA. UCLA, I think they're coming in at the 4th seed. But as we mentioned earlier, it looks like we lost my boy Albert. Show goes on. We'll have to pick it up. UCLA is one of those teams that's going to be top 25 in offensive efficiency, top 40 in defensive efficiency. So definitely meets the criteria as far as that criteria in which all the champions have surpassed or equipped themselves with to be champions. And then for the South, I have Zona and Tennessee. And looks like we got my boy back in. So I was just going over my Elite Eight. For the South, I got Arizona and Tennessee. Of course, I got my boys Arizona as the pick to win it all. Tennessee, obviously, they've been riding a huge wave. So basically, just went over my Elite Eight real quick. South, I got Zona and Tennessee. Midwest, I got Kansas and Wisconsin. So do you want to give out your Elite Eight predictions?
I will tease my Elite Eight on our Instagram post. How about that?
Okay.
Little teaser.
Okay.
So that's where you tune in to the Average Joe's Instagram post, and you'll get Albert's Elite Eight
Albert's Elite Eight.
selections. Yeah.
So let's finish up. We're at the 40-minute mark. Let's finish up with some baseball. Your favorite. So let's talk about. I'll start this off. The best and worst trades or free agent signings. I think number one for me has to be Carlos Rodon. Last year had a amazing season. Obviously, tremendous run support, pitching for the White Sox. But the Niners, the Giants signed him to a 2-year, $44 million deal. If he can get remotely close to what the level of success he had last year, I think this is a steal. And again, it's no surprise why the Giants were good last year in terms of if you look at the sneaky signings that they've made. They got Anthony D. I'm not even going to Despani, whatever his name is. Their rotation is super underrated. They got Anthony D. They just brought in a Carlos Rondon. They got the homegrown ace now with Logan Webb. He just continued to get better and better and better. Which is crazy. I told you the story about how I met him in Union in Roseville long time ago. We got shit faced in Roseville bars. Great kid. And they got a couple other guys, but needless to say, their rotation is super underrated. Even before this signing, I like this signing. I think they're going to be competing with the Dodgers and maybe the Padres, depending on who they sign and the health of Fernando Tatis. But I would not be surprised if the Giants kind of piggybacked on that success they had because of the signings that they've made and the players that they retained. My worst one is because I don't like this motherfucker. I think he's so overrated. Is Javier Baez, and we talked about earlier in terms of like that age tier that you're in and where you want to get your money, and this is going to be probably your last time getting money. That's where this motherfucker's at. That's why he signed a 6-year, $140 million deal with the Tigers. He doesn't want to fucking play for the Tigers probably, but hey, they're going to give him $140 million for one of the most inefficient guys in the MLB. This guy, like we talked about for our league, I would not touch him with a fucking 500-foot pole in our draft. I mean, this guy, he's gonna hit a few home runs, this and that, but he's gonna strike out a ton. He's not gonna be patient. He's not gonna produce any type of walks. Batting average is gonna be in the shitter. He's not a guy. He's not a guy that I'll be touching at all. But that's my worst and best signings. Who do you got?
I won't say my worst, but my least favorite is probably Corey Seager. I mean, 10 years is a big contract, and you only give 10 years to like generational players or prospects to just like the best players out there. And 10 years is a lot, man. Like 6, maybe I would have done 7. Get that 6 like Freddie Freeman's chasing.
Well,
7, 8, but 10 years, $300 million. But Rangers, I don't even know if they're going to be that competitive this year. I think they finished last in their division year prior. So they want to make moves. They got money to spend. But it's just, it didn't really, I don't know. Good for Corey Seager, man. Get that fucking money,
Yeah.
Get that money.
Yeah. I mean, they brought a Marcus Semien. He's from the Blue Jays. The lineup's gonna be nice.
Seager's good. He's a clutch hitter, consistent hitter. He's kind of injured, kind of some freak injuries, but he is injured. He's pretty often injured. Yeah. But I don't know. 10 years is a lot. It's like Mookie Betts, Bryce Harper, Stanton money. And I wouldn't put Seager. He's like right below there. I wouldn't put him there. Great hitter. And then most favorite, I would go with probably, he's not signed yet, but me and you have been talking about him for a while. Freddie Freeman. He kills right-handed pitching. He's a first baseman, and he has that potential to be a DH going forward with either league. I think whoever signs him is going to be
jackpot.
Yeah, it's going to be money well spent. Hopefully, the Dodgers can get him. I know they're giving him like a shorter 6-year or 4-year deal with higher money. It's kind of scaring me as each day goes on. I think he doesn't have the guts, the nuts to fucking leave his hometown. I don't know, man. But Freeman or I like the Scherzer deal, but that's a lot of money too. But
yeah,
so Freeman, get it done, Dodgers. Let's go.
Yeah, just kind of segueing that into the next piece of our segment is who in fantasy baseball, from a fantasy baseball perspective, who do you think is too high? One player and one player who you think is too low. We talked about earlier, or was it earlier? Yesterday, one of these days, whatever it was, Otani. ESPN has him number one ranked. I don't like it. I think he had a great year. But he's had injury issues in terms of his pitching. He's had some issues at the plate in terms of injuries. Um, you have a guy like Otani he had a great season, but the risk to get hurt at the plate in the field is great, and also in pitching as well. So I think there's significant risk is going to be absorbed in terms of picking a guy like Otani. And for me, at picking in my first round pick, I'm not trying to win a league at first round. I'm trying to win a league in fourth, fifth, sixth round in terms of high upside guys. I'm staying far away from Otani. Whoever gets him, if you have a stellar season, kudos to you. I'm staying away from him. I definitely would not waste a number one pick. I'm getting a shoe-in guy like a Juan Soto, a Mookie Betts, and then moving on to who I like, who's too low, is Freddie Freeman. How you mentioned earlier. I mean, this dude does it all. Batting average, drives in guys. If he can go in, obviously Braves had a nice lineup too as well, but he can go in and you put him in that Dodgers lineup, you put him in that Blue Jays lineup with Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette, who I love, even though they're missing Simeon, Teoscar Hernandez. They got that. I mean, I definitely pitched a question to the chat. I said, where do you guys have Freddie Freeman? Some guys were like, oh, I have him in the middle of the second round. I'm like, you guys are idiots. But I definitely have him in the first round. If he goes to the Dodgers, I hope they're listening too. If he goes to the Dodgers and he gets, or the Blue Jays, I definitely have him in the first round. I think I have him at like 5 or 6 overall. I mean, depending on how things go, I might fuck around and pick him second overall. Probably not. I mean, obviously, you know how I feel about Soto. He's going to be my second pick if he's there.
MVP shot.
Yeah, it's my guy. But yeah, Freddie Freeman. Love Freddie Freeman. Hate Javier Baez. I need to say it again. Yeah, he's trash.
There we go. Say with your chest.
Yeah. So let's finish up with who do you think is going to take the biggest jump down or up in terms of a team?
My fantasy overrated. I think Lindor. Yeah. He's I loved him a couple years ago.
Right.
But now he changes that bat style. He's trying to swing for the fences every time. I think he could get a shortstop more later in the draft. Lindor, his name, he's good, but you could do better if you wait a little bit. And then underrated, my boy, I'm a homer, Muncy. People forgot about him. He's injured.
Oh, I love Muncy.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Oh, man.
He plays fucking 14 different positions. You can put him anywhere. You can put him in the kitchen. You can put him in my bedroom. Wait, what?
That's fucking ridiculous.
But Muncy, yeah, he'll be back. He's injured, but come on now. Biggest jump. Rangers were awful last year, so they got to be a little better now this year. Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Rangers.
They better.
Yeah. Yeah, 60 and 1 or 110 losses, 100 something losses. It was terrible.
Right.
Wins. I'll let you do the biggest jump or biggest drop. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. My team, I got just kind of it's kind of the same token as the Rangers. They better be better because they spent the money, and they were so terrible. They were awful last year. Just before I give the drop, I'm gonna give another one. That's the Mets. This is the year they went out and spent more money. Hopefully that we get some, they get rid of the poison too with Javier Baez. I fucking hate that guy. This third time he's saying it. Had to say it again. Javier Baez is trash. They went out and they got, Max Scherzer. Obviously he's getting up there in age, but he continues to perform. His arm kind of whatever towards the end of the year. Yeah, but he's solid. And then they got hopefully Lindor. They have a lot of guys that, they expect, positive, positive season in terms of coming back. Francisco Lindor, obviously you mentioned their sentiment, how you feel about him, fantasy wise, and to put things in perspective, that's in relation to where he's probably getting drafted. But I think he should bounce back a little bit. They signed a couple of other guys too as well. Don't know them name for name, but last year. They were about 10 games under 500. Definitely see them at least at 500 this year. I think this is a team that'll bounce back for sure. And then my team that will regress is is the Reds. Reds were about 5 games above 500, and they just completely just said, I think the owner was just in there probably with his AirPods during the the collective bargaining agreement. He was like, yeah, whatever. What's the luxury tax? Whatever. I don't give a fuck because I'm gonna burn this team to the ground anyways. They traded away, Sonny Gray. They traded away, Suarez. They traded away my boy, one of my favorites, Jesse
Wink.
Winker. Yeah, waiver wire god. He was nice. So I mean, basically they're just like, they're kicking a can. They said, maybe next year not next year, down the line they'll be great. I know they have some nice pieces in the farm. They have Hunter Green, who I got to see where his health is. They drafted him like in the first round a couple of years ago. I think he's from Southern California or somewhere in California, but nasty. He threw like 100 miles an hour in high school. So needless to say, they got some guys that can get the job done at the lower levels. So they're kind of kicking the can down. Reds will regress. That's how I feel. Did you have any closing arguments before we close up the segment? I think we've covered up everything.
They cover everything. I mean, the A's are doing A's things again. They're just fucking develop these players and make them look like fucking Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter, and then they sell them for fucking
too expensive.
Yeah, they can't afford it. I mean,
right.
They gotta do what they gotta do. They fucking play in Oakland, and their owner is cheap, but their GM's pretty good. It sucks for the fans. I feel for them. But they're kind of doing what the Reds are doing. I think they'll probably regress the most a little bit. I don't know. Somehow they'll end up fucking being in playoff contention. That's how they did.
Yeah, that's what's saving them, is that somehow they managed to spend significantly lower than all the other teams. Well, not all of them, but the majority, and they still compete. Right, just like the Rays. They're just like the Rays. They compete and they develop their players and they do the right thing. So they still have an MVP candidate in Matt Chapman, but
yeah, I don't know if he'll be on the team for much longer. Yeah, but at this point last week, I was praying for a Jimmy G trade, saying, "Hey, maybe next time when we come on, I'll be talking about where Jimmy G went. He is getting
no love
in the market, but Watson will give him his fair trial. Watson kind of jumped the line for him, so hopefully that Watson trade happens now for the Saints, Panthers, Falcons. It looks like now, if you're Watson, where would you want to go? Like you, Watson, where are you going? Not take anything out of it. Our icebreaker. How we started.
Well, I would have. I mean, the two top spots, I would have wanted to go to Tampa. I'd love to live in Florida. Love to live in Florida. I think the defense is still top 5 probably.
Really good owner. Owners will spend money.
Good owner. Still have weapons. We talked about they've lost some guys on the O-line, but they got their center back. They'll fill it in. They'll fill in the pieces. I think Gronk will eventually get the itch, and he'll come back as well. I don't know. The defense, they got the track star linebackers that are sideline to sideline. They brought back the corner that was pretty good. But realistically, probably I'd say the Saints. They lack weapons, but hopefully they can bring some guys in. Obviously, the draft is pretty, it's loaded with receiver depth. But in terms of that's another defense that's pretty solid. They got some decent pieces on defense. Their O-line is okay. Obviously, you got Alvin Kamara. I mean, that security blanket, but we'll see. It's the Deshaun Watson show, and I mean, he holds all the cards right now.
He does. I'm interested to see where he goes. Hopefully, the AFC. I'm rooting for the Browns. Actually, Browns were kind of rumored. Another quarterback to the AFC.
Right.
Give me more Jimmy G contenders. If he goes to Browns, that's what I'm hoping for. But
yeah,
we didn't even touch on Brady. Brady's back.
Over it.
Are you?
I mean, we touched on it. I guess I just touched on it now, saying that the Buccaneers are. They're still formidable.
I love it. Give me more Brady. A lot of people are like, "Oh, well." I'm like, "No, bro. Like, what are you talking about?" He doesn't mean like it's not like he's just like corny and out there and everything. He just wants a ball, and he says some like cocky shit sometimes. Not even cocky, but it just says some like little jabs in that. But give me like LeBron. Give me as much as LeBron as there is. Because once there is no LeBron, no Brady, it's gonna be weird.
Are you getting emotional on me? It's like a tear. All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys again for rocking with us. As always, my boy Albert from Sacramento. And then me, Don, as well from LA. Thank you guys for listening in on Apple's podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. If you're listening to YouTube, if you're listening to YouTube or new, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Really helps out a lot with the algorithms. And thank you. Yeah, I don't know where it's at, but hit that motherfucker.
Right there. Hit
Appreciate it. It's all love, guys. And we're out for another episode of the Average Joe Sports Podcast.